Completion of the first poem, a photograph. Now let us start the second poem from class 11 textbook, Hornbill textbook. So we are going to complete one more poem today, so that we can complete 3 poems, and then 2 more poems are there which we are going to complete in the next class. So now this poem title is The Laburnum Top, and here you can see the Laburnum Top poem is written by Ted Hughes. So Ted Hughes is generally considered as a very difficult and complicated poem, and his poetry is also very complicated. So Laburnum Top poem is not so easy to understand for class 12 students, but as you are all postgraduates, you may feel little easy to understand his philosophy. So the Laburnum Top is a poem written by Ted Hughes. Now here you need to understand one thing, that this laburnum top, or the laburnum tree is a short tree with hanging branches, yellow flowers and poisonous seeds. That means this tree, laburnum tree, has poisonous seeds. When poisonous seeds are there, no animal, no bird will come to the near the tree, because they are scared. If they eat any fruit or any seed of this laburnum, so they will certainly die. So that's why this laburnum tree is untouched by anybody. Nobody wants to come near. So it is very lonely. And here there is another thing which we are very important, is a bird comes here, the goldfinch. So what is a goldfinch? A small singing bird with yellow feathers on its wings. That means this is a relation between goldfinch bird and the laburnum tree. But why it is so specific, laburnum tree and laburnum top, means the end of the highest branch, top branch of the laburnum tree. Laburnum tree is a poisonous tree, so no bird, no animal comes near that tree. You can see on screen it has poisonous seeds also. So let me just read the poem once. It's also a very small poem. We can complete this poem very easily. The laburnum top is silent, quite still, in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Then sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt. She enters the thickness, and a machine starts up of chitterings, and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. She stokes it full, then flits out to a branch end, showing her barred face identity mask. Then, with ear delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. So if you see this, it is a very philosophical poem. The people, according to Ted Hughes, the people on this planet are poisonous seeds, dead. Nobody wants to come near to us to give us happiness and enlightenment. The God wants to come, the God only wants to come near, and he wants to bring a difference in our lives. So here, like God, goldfinch comes and it lands on the top branch of the laburnum tree. The laburnum tree is poisonous seeds. It has poisonous seeds. So nobody wants to come near the tree. So the laburnum top is silent, quite still. Still, quite, all these words represents what? The death of the tree. So there is no life here. The tree is silent, it is quiet, it is still. That means it is dead. Like all human beings on the planet are dead, this laburnum tree is also dead. In the afternoon yellow September sunlight, the sunlight is also not very clear, very bright. It is showing some kind of what you call dull, dim and gloomy mood. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. So it is not even a great season for this tree, and the tree is also having some kind of physical problem or some kind of disease, and all its seeds are fallen. So when the tree is completely dead, how can bring life to this tree? Then comes the goldfinch. Till the goldfinch comes, the tree remains dead. When that goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. So the goldfinch comes and sits at the end of the top branch. So when it sits, what happens? The branch starts moving. The movement of that particular branch will create a kind of a suddenness, a startlement, a surprise to the entire tree, and then that bird will sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt. She enters the thickness and a machine starts up. So when the bird enters inside the tree, a machine starts up. There is no real machine in this tree. What is actually, the bird made a nest in that tree. So when it enters inside the tree, the birds, the baby birds which are inside that nest, they will start making noise of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of our family. When all this goldfinch and the bird and the child baby birds, when they all started making noises, the entire tree becomes completely alive. It is the engine of our family. The goldfinch bird, the mother bird, is the engine of the family of the entire, because if the goldfinch bird doesn't come, then the baby birds can't survive on the tree. She stokes it full, then flits out to a branch end. So she feeds the baby birds, and then she again goes back to the end of the tree or branch end, showing her a barred face identity mask. Then with air delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away. She looks once again back towards the laburnum tree, and then she launches herself into the sky towards the infinite, and the laburnum subsides to empty. When the goldfinch birds leaves the tree, again the laburnum tree becomes dead. That means it is, or it was dead at the beginning of the poem, and it again enters into the stage of death at the end of the poem. So the life comes into this poem only when the goldfinch bird enters into the tree. So this is a philosophical poem according to Ted Hughes. All our human beings' lives are like with having poisonous seeds. We are all dead. Only the touch of God can make us alive. So this is a poem written by Ted Hughes, and the name of the poem is The Laburnum Top. Why the laburnum is specifically mentioned here? Because the laburnum tree has a poisonous seeds. Like human beings have poisonous thoughts, but like goldfinch, like God, the goldfinch enters onto the tree. It feeds the children of the goldfinch, and it brings life to this entire tree. So this is the poem of The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. Sir, once you go through this poem, then I'll show you the what you call literary devices used in this.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay, so these are the literary devices used in this poem, sir. I just copied from internet only. Right. So here you can see first alliteration, the repetition of same sounds at the beginning of the words. September, sunlight, suddenness, startlement, the whole tree trembles, whistle, whispering. So all these are alliterations. Similarly, here the movement of the goldfinch is compared with the movement of the lizard. So simile is used. Whenever we use as or like, then that line is actually a simile. Then a metaphor is also used. A machine starts up of chitterings. This is a sentence where the metaphor is also actually it's a kind of a simile, but there is no words like and as is used to compare two things. And then the engine of our family is also a metaphor. Her barred face identity mask is also metaphor. Then another figures of speech is personification. The whole tree trembles and thrills like a human being. So this is the personification. And again here we have transferred epithet. Her barred face identity mask is used here for transferred epithet. So quickly go through this information, sir.
It's illustration. సార్ ఈ టర్మినాలజీ ఉంది కదా సార్, ఈ టర్మ్స్ వాటికి కామన్ మీనింగ్ వచ్చేటట్లు ఒకసారి నోట్స్ రాసుకున్నా
So
సార్.
what do you
అంటే
mean
ఈ
by,
టర్మ్
like, what is metaphor, what is simile, correct?
అవును సార్.
Yes, sir. That video is already available. I'll share that video, sir. I explained all figures of speeches, poetic devices, literary terms in one video. That if you watch that video, it will be useful. And then again, one more video was already made and published where all these figures of speeches are being explained from class 11 textbook and class 12 textbook, sir.
ఓకే సార్.
So this is about the second poem, the Laburnum top, and these are the important figures of speeches used in this poem. Alliteration is there, simile is there, metaphor is there, personification is there, and transferred epithet is there. So transferred epithet is we are using one adjective, but it transfers the meaning to the another one. Okay. So let us go to the next poem. Maybe it like little fast I have to do, otherwise the syllabus cannot be completed. So that's why I ask you to read the poem before coming to this class. So now let us go to the next poem. This is the last poem. We'll stop with this poem, but in the next class we'll complete remaining poems, sir. Okay. And what I mean to say, when it comes to class 12, we'll complete all the poetry in one single class. Okay. So that it will be easy for you to understand the entire poetry in one single class, and easy for me also to explain complete, because it will not take much time.
ఓకే సార్. ఓకే.
Right. So the next poem is The Voice of the Rain. What is the next poem, sir?
ద వాయిస్ ఆఫ్
The
ద రెయిన్.
Voice of the Rain. So The Voice of the Rain is a poem written by Walt Whitman. So we have to assume here, if the rain gets a voice, or if can start speaking like a human being, then what it will say. So the poem is also very simple, easy to explain. So the poem starts in this way: and who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower. So I here is Walt Whitman, the poet, addressing the rain. Who art thou? Who are you? Who art thou means who are you? Which, strange to tell, gave me an answer as here translated. When poet asked the question, who are you, the rain gave him an answer, and that is surprise for the poet. And he translated the rain's voice language into normal English. So now here onwards the rain starts speaking. What rain says that, I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. Like we have a national anthem for India, for every country, the poem of the earth is rain. That means the rain, when it falls from the sky to earth, the sound it makes is considered as the poem of the earth. It's not for one particular country, it is for the entire world or entire earth. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. So it says about the water cycle, how it starts its journey from the land and how it reaches to the sky, and how it again comes from the sky down to the planet earth. So eternal, it says, that means eternal means it will go to heaven. I rise impalpable. What is impalpable? Something that cannot be touched. Only God cannot be touched. Okay, with other things can be touched. So it says that it has taken the state of the god or goddess. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Because water, when it sunlight falls in the water, because the heat and temperature rises, it converts the liquid state into gaseous state. So water rises from the water vapor rises from the bottomless sea, and where it is going upward to heaven. So it goes not to sky, it says that it is going to heaven, which the place which everybody wants. Upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed and at the same. It says that of course it changes the shape, but it remains same. We have gaseous state, solid state, liquid state. So the rain can change its form into different states, but it remains same. So like in our Indian traditions, like the Vishnu can transform himself into different forms, but still he remains same. So likewise it also says that the poem of the earth rain says that it can change into different forms, but it can remain same. So it rises from the bottomless sea, from the land, and it goes to heaven. When it reaches heaven, it can stay there permanently, but it says that I descend to lay the draughts, automies, dust layers of the globe. When it went to heaven, why does it come back? What is the reason it should come back? It says that I come back from heaven I descend to lay the droughts. It wants to clear the droughts. It wants to clear the famines of the planet Earth. If it doesn't come, what will happen? The entire planet Earth will suffer from droughts and famines. Atomies dust layers the globe. That means it wants to purify the dust. It wants to clean the dust and it wants to purify the planet Earth. Only we believe that the supernatural being like a god and goddess has that kind of a power. So it states that it has such kind of a power. And all them in them without me were seeds only, latent unborn. It says that, see, you may be having great seeds, but without me, those seeds cannot take birth. The germination cannot happen. So, what it is telling? It is telling that it has the power to give life into the seeds. We believe that only God has the power to give life to our bodies. So, the poem, the poet, the voice of the rain is telling that the rain has the power to give lives, and forever by day and night I give back life to my origin. So it continuously comes from the heaven, it gives life back to its origin, means the planet Earth. But why does it give? And make pure and beautify it. So it wants to purify the planet Earth and it wants to beautify the planet Earth. So even though it reached heaven, it can live there comfortably, happily, but still it came down because it wants to purify the planet Earth and it wants to beautify the planet Earth. From song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. So these last two lines are kept within bracket because it is telling that whether you love me or not, whether you like me or not, but I will do my duty honestly to my origin. Wrecked or unwrecked, loved or unloved, respected or not respected, but I'll return to give life to my origin. So it here the voice of the rain says that without rain everything will become dead and there is no life on the planet Earth. So that's why it states that it is almost all like a god, goddess who can breathe life into our bodies. So this is the third poem, The Voice of the Rain, written by Walt Whitman. So
What
please
would
go through it once and then I'll copy and paste the figures of speech used in this
okay, sir.
poem, The Voice of the Rain.
Oh,
Literary devices in
strange to when I answer, ask you to ask. When you put this into our so how to have means
1 second.
1, 2, 3.
Just go through the poems.
Sir, fifth line, sir, upward to heaven, whence అన్నది సార్ ఇంకోటి vaguely and
Upward to heaven whence, vaguely formed, altogether changed, and yet the same. If you see the water cycle, sir, this is like a water cycle. From the bottomless pit, that means from water bodies, it will raise to the eternal. Eternal means it will go upward. Where it goes, it calls itself as a heaven. Okay, but it is actually for us it is a sky. So the water, because of the heat, what happens, it converts into water vapor. That means
vapor
the
form.
liquid form now changes into gaseous form. Okay, so it says that upward to heaven, during its journey from land to heaven, vaguely formed, altogether changed, and yet the same. It changed from the liquid state to gaseous state, and it went to the top heaven, and there it becomes again solid state. But in all these states, what happens? It remains same. Like
Same.
God who can change different forms. This water or rain can have that kind of a power to change him or her into these type of different forms, and at the same it can remain the same. You don't call water vapor is not water, you don't call gaseous state and liquid state and solid state of water is something different. H2O remains H2O.
yes, sir.
Now let us go with the figures of speech, literary devices. Personification is used, metaphor is used, alliteration. So what is alliteration? Repetition of the same sound. Where it is said I to the soft falling shower, whence vaguely formed. So this is the alliteration. Then metaphor, the poet uses a lot of metaphors in the poem. I am the poem of the earth, the voice of the rain, etc. Then personification, first line only personification. Rain is personified in the whole poem. The rain talks to the poet like a human. Here are some dialogues by the rain. I am the poem of the earth. How can rain speaks? So we are imagining that it is like a human. I descend to lay the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe. I give back life to my own horizon and make pure and beautify it. So the personification technique, the first line itself, and who art thou? If it says, it is like addressing the poem. The poet is addressing the rain like a human being, and it starts speaking from here onwards. I am the poem of the earth. So personification is being used in this poem. So this is these are the different literary devices used in this poem, the voice of the rain. So two poems we could complete in today's class. One is the
Photograph.
Laburnum top. Of course, three poems completed. A photograph poem, okay, a
The
photograph poem,
laburnum top.
and then here is the different figures of speech or literary devices being used in the first poem, a photograph, alliteration, transferred epithet, personification, oxymoron. And then when it comes to second poem, the Laburnum top, we have alliteration, simile, metaphor,
Metaphor.
personification, and transferred epithet. And then third poem we took today is the Voice of the
The
Rain,
voice
by
of the
Walt
rain.
Whitman, and the summary completed. And these are the figures of speeches or literary devices used in the poem, The Voice of the Rain. We have personification, metaphor, and alliteration. So we could complete three poems in this class. So this is from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask. But after this class, what I am going to do is I am going to share the question paper. I already prepared the question paper, and in that question paper all these three poems, whatever the now we have completed first three poems, MCQ questions are been already created. So you have to answer these MCQ questions after completion of this class within half an hour, sir.
Okay.